You know, for all the nonsense that runs rampant in the world, there are moments out there that restores our faith in humanity even just by a little bit, and this video here is a fine example of that. Take a look.
If you're a woman who's accused a man of doing something to you, and then all of a sudden you got caught and you were lying about everything, you should serve all the time that he was going to have to serve.
There is something cathartic about hearing this, especially hearing something that you have believed in for the longest time. And I know for certain that I'm not the only one out there that has this type of outlook when it comes to the nature of false accusations. Because there's a history of people out there that make false accusations and walk away without any form of consequence. As opposed to someone who got falsely accused, even when proven innocent beyond all shadow of doubt, well, they still have to walk around for the rest of their life with that sort of stigma hanging over their head, no matter how many times they've proven themselves innocent. And I genuinely agree with the fact that whoever makes false accusations, they should serve prison time. And what I mean by that is, and I know I'm just pulling random numbers out of thin air, but just roll with me here. Say if you got accused of rape, and that right there carries a 10-year prison sentence. Now, you prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are innocent. The person that falsely accused you of rape that would carry a sentence of 10 years should serve those 10 years in prison. And that right there will set a precedent that people really should shut the fuck up unless what they are going to be saying is actually true and provable. Because I know there's idiots out there that will take accusations as near fact and run with it despite those accusations being phony baloney. Like, it honestly shows how bad faith and stupid they really are. Because the only time that accusations do reflect on the accused is if they are actually proven to be true. But if they're not proven to be true, then accusations should be treated as such. Accusations, meaning until there's facts on the table, you don't make any judgments or definitive statements about it. Or presumptions about it just because you have a preconceived notion about somebody. Innocent until proven guilty should always reign true, but sadly, the meaning of that quote has lost a lot of power because of the nature of false accusations, how often they come up, and how damaging they are, and yet people will still believe false accusations even to this very day. Remember, it's innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. Get it? Got it? Good. I'm sorry, but I get really fired up when it comes to these sort of topics here because when it comes to false accusations, there's a lot of people and a lot of instances where people have gotten away with causing life-altering damage to the innocent. Now that was going to be the end of the video here, but while I was at the gym training my big legs, something else sprang to mind. I feel like, you know what? We need to talk about this subject a little bit more in depth. Now, I want to clarify something. If you are a victim of sexual abuse of any kind, I want you to be able to be comfortable, to be able to come forward and even use the legal system to seek justice. However, with that being said, unfortunately, not everyone is mature enough to not abuse this. There's men, even kids, who were falsely accused of sexual assault of various kinds. The problem is that there is malicious intent when it comes to falsely accusing someone, and I believe you should face the penalties that the accused would have faced if convicted. Again, we are talking about individuals where it is proven in a court that malicious intent for the accusation does exist. We're not so much focusing on a lack of conviction in that case. It's a defending attorney's job to protect their client and cause reasonable doubt in the jury. If there is a lack of conviction, it just means that the defending attorney did their job really well. You wouldn't get punished for that as it doesn't make sense. Now, if I provided evidence in court to not only prove my innocence, but the evidence is also really damning that showcases malicious intent from the plaintiff, that is where punishment should take place. There was a story in South America, I think Brazil, that a kid went to one of those events that protested sexual abuse. The kid went to help support his female friend. Unfortunately for him, his female friend accused him, and that's where everything took a permanent and dark turn. The abuse he had received from people not only took its toll on him, but it eventually caused him to kill himself. This didn't just affect him, but also his family. He never once treated his female friend in a bad manner. There was also a story via a YouTube comment, so it sounds like it is a personal type of story, where some kids in high school were sliding on some ice. One of the boys fell on top of another student who happened to be a girl. He apologized to her and even reached his hand out to help her. Now, what was her response? That's rape, and she stormed off. Later that day, he was brought to the principal's office, where not only the student's mom was there, but also the female principal. They were absolutely ready to tear into this kid, but fortunately for the kid, that kid had witnesses, and one of his friends mentioned that the school should check the cameras. They did, and they saw it play out exactly the way it was. The male student didn't even get an apology, and nothing happened to the female student either. You see my point here? Now, while the second story had a better ending compared to the first, it only further highlights the need that those who accuse with malicious intent should face the same repercussions of the accused if convicted. We shouldn't be allowing those who falsely accuse with malicious intent to potentially make things harder for real victims, because their lies is doing exactly that, making valid and legitimate victims that much more scared to come out with their experiences. I say all that to say this. This is why I'm going to provide an example build that Grok, aka X's AI, has assisted with in terms of the concept. And mind you, I'm not a lawmaker, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how this would work, let alone even get passed in practice. But just bear with me here. So the title, Malicious False Accusation Deterrence Act, Section 1, Definitions. False accusation, an accusation made by an individual which is later proven to be false and where the accuser knew or should have known the accusation was false at the time it was made. Malicious intent, the deliberate intention to cause harm, damage, or to benefit one's self or other through the making of a false accusation, evidenced by concrete proof. Punishment, the legal penalty or sentence that would have been imposed on the accused if the accusation had been proven true. Section 2, purpose. The purpose of this act is to deter false accusations made with proven malicious intent, protect individuals from malicious legal harassment through the judicial system, ensure justice for those wrongfully accused. Section 3, legislation. Subsection A, establishment of offense. Any person who knowingly makes a false accusation with proven malicious intent shall be subject to criminal prosecution. Section B, proof of malicious intent. Malicious intent must be proven through direct evidence like communication or documents explicitly showing intent to falsely accuse. Patterns of behavior where the accuser has previously made false accusations with similar intent. Clear evidence that the accusation was made for personal gain, revenge, or to cause harm to the accused's reputation or livelihood. Subsection C, punishment for malicious false accusation. If a person is found guilty of making a false accusation with proven malicious intent, they shall be subject to the same punishment in type and severity that the falsely accused would have faced if convicted of the crime falsely alleged. The court must establish that the intent was malicious beyond a reasonable doubt. Subsection D, judicial oversight. The determination of malicious intent and the appropriateness of punishment shall be made by a court of law with the right to appeal. Judges will have discretion to adjust the punishment based on mitigating or aggravating circumstances, ensuring proportionality. Subsection E, safeguards against misuse. This act shall not apply to cases where accusations are not proven beyond reasonable doubt, acknowledging the legal system's high burden of proof for convictions. The burden of proving malicious intent lies with the prosecution, ensuring that genuine victims are not deterred from coming forward. Section 4, effective date. This act shall take effect 6 months following its passage into law to allow for public education and legal preparation. provision. Section 5, severability. If any provision of this act or its implication is held invalid, the remainder of the act or the application of the provision to other persons or circumstances is not affected. This revised version focuses explicitly on situations where there is clear, tangible evidence of malicious intent in making false accusations. It ensures that the legal system does not punish those who might mistakenly or genuinely believe in their accusations but are not proven in court. Now, this draft aims to protect the integrity of the judicial processes while deterring malicious misuse of the legal system. So let's do better, then be better and help those who need it instead of hindering them. With all that being said, thank you very much for hearing me out and thanks for watching.